Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Donna Lynn Hilton, producer for Goodspeed Musicals. Sorry, we're a few minutes late joining you. We have a little bit of a technical glitch, so I'm gonna talk, and hopefully by the time we get to that point in the show, we'll be ready for you. So I'm Donna Lynn Hilton, producer for Goodspeed. Thank you for joining us. Before we get going tonight, let me remind you that if you have questions for me or for our guest tonight, you can enter them in the Q&A on the right side of your screen, or you can text them to 860-638-7157, and we will try to get those in here. Questions or comments are welcome. For those of you who have attended this event before, this is redundant, so I apologize, but we have a growing audience for this event on Thursday night. So I will share that one of the great parts about my job is creating and maintaining relationships with artists that we are advocating the work of. And it's our artistic team is constantly tracking numerous projects in development, and we normally do that in the form of phone calls and lunches and coffees and readings and workshops that we attend, multiple events weekly. And of course, we can't do all of that together right now, so we're doing it here online, and that made us think that this was a unique opportunity to invite our New Works audience into the process. So that's what we're doing. Tonight we are going to visit with two writers who have separate relationships with Goodspeed and have come together to work on a new project together. And I think Douglas is here. I see you. Okay, great. So we're good. So let's please welcome Creighton Irons and Douglas Lyons. Yay!
Doug!
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
You kept us on our toes till the last minute, Douglas.
My internet, my computer, but we're here. Okay, we're here.
Okay, you helped us. We learned something new we have to put into the guest guide, so it's all good. It's all good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing good. I'm glad Doug's here. We're doing good.
Doug, where are you?
I'm in my apartment in Astoria.
And so, Creighton, you're at home in North Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
And that, over here, Donna Lynn, this is the power went out here about 3 hours ago.
Oh no!
And the power was out, and so we had to drop Callan off at my folks' house, and we're going to just stay there and try to figure out something for Donna and I shows there. Then, but the power came back on like an hour and a half ago, so we came back. It's been a little hairy over here too.
The world is giving us a lot of tests right now. That's for sure. That's for sure. So you both have long history with Goodspeed, separate long histories with Goodspeed. So Douglas, let's talk with you. You're from Connecticut, right?
New Haven, born and raised. Yep. And then I attended the Hart School.
Yep.
And so I was first at Goodspeed as a student in my senior year. This is like January 2009 when I was graduating. And we auditioned for 3 different shows, one of which was Factory Girls, which Crieghton wrote with Sean Mahoney, to which I remember distinctly. He said, "Hey, man, you had a great voice, but you're not going to be in my show."
Because you're not a factory girl. That would be truly non-traditional casting in that time anyway. The world has shifted, but now that would have been truly non-traditional casting. What show were you in that year, though?
Band Geeks.
Oh, how could I forget that?
Yeah, which actually I'm pretty excited about, because I think that workshop made the role a person of color going forward. After I did it. So I'm not going to own it, but like I own it. You know what I mean?
No, you can own that. You did. That's right. You did. That's great. And then you participated in our festival as a writer.
Yeah, the Johnny Mercer Colony. Ethan and I were there in 2015. And then in 2018, we brought 5 points months before our world premiere at Theater La Ciudad.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So long history here with us. And Creighton, you have a very particular history with Goodspeed.
Yes.
So Factory Girl. Well, NYU, back to NYU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So
tell your story.
Well, the part that Doug, sort of glossed over is that Doug and I met that year in 2009, but I wanted him to sing a song so bad that they had this songwriter showcase or something.
Yeah, cabaret on Friday night.
And so I wrote a song for Doug to sing during that week at the cabaret, and that ended up being the first song for Moon in the Sea. So that was actually the sort of dawn of this show. No pun intended, the dawn of this show. And then a few years later, it came back to Goodspeed. I guess it was 2014 or 2015.
Yeah.
For the Johnny Mercer colony, and met this vixen named Dawn Landis, who was there working on a Project Row. She was living underneath a Pulitzer Prize winner. She was rooming with Michael Jackson, and we met there, and then we got married.
And where is Dawn Landis today?
She's in the garage, about 2 rooms that way, and I can hear her singing now. So I hope I'm not loud when we get to that point. But she's got a live stream on Facebook. So when this finishes, go check her out on Facebook, DawnLandis.com.
I love that you're both doing live streams tonight. That is crazy. Yeah. And okay, so you guys met at the colony. I know Crieghton, The Moon and the Sea was at one point a project that you were writing alone. Mm-hmm. Tell us how the project came about from your solo perspective.
Well, I mean, it was like anything great. It started with a breakup. So I just was brokenhearted and was writing this music and trying to find, really trying to find some positive spin on that ache that you feel when you can't be with somebody that you love. And so that sadness and that pull, and it's like just thinking there's got to be a reason for this. And so, one of the reasons, one of the ways that you can spin it positive is that you have that music from it. But the Moon and the Sea evolved from that, just that pull between the moon and the sea. And that's that tension that keeps the world in balance. So knowing that the girl that I broke up with then, we couldn't be together for things that we wanted in life and how we needed to be ourselves in this life. We loved each other, but it was not good for either one of us, and therefore not good for the world. And feeling like, okay, what's good about that? There's got to be some reason for that, and there's some reason for that feeling that all that energy that we waste or that we spend when we're missing somebody so hard. And so I just sort of wrote a bunch of songs and drew a line through them and connected them in a way. And this metaphor of moon and sea evolved, and a story evolved. It was sort of a band-centered show, and it was always pretty good. And the music was always really good, but the show was never really good because the story was never I couldn't get it up to snuff. And I don't know if it was too close to it or just like not good enough at writing the book. And so it's been a joy to get to work with Doug on this, because he's brought a whole new perspective to the book and to the story, and allowed the songs to breathe in different ways.
So you've known each other since 2009. How did this collaboration come about?
It's really funny. I don't know if this story has been told publicly. So we had the blessing last summer of doing Bo at the Adirondack Theater Festival, and I've become very close friends with Chad Rabinowitz, where The Moon and the Sea would have played if COVID had not hit this year. And I didn't know Chad, but a friend had put me in touch with him. And when I was pitching him Bo, he said at one point, he was like, I have one more slot, and it's between you and another show. And he wouldn't tell me what the show was, but I found out that show was The Moon and the Sea. And so while we were doing Bo and we were going to a press event, I was like, Chad, what was that other show? He's like, do you know Creighton Irons? I was like, do I know Creighton Irons? And then it was like, and so we sort of plotted privately a plan to approach Crieghton and go, listen, I don't want to step on your toes. I understand, it's your baby, you're an artist, and I get that, and we don't want to mess with your stuff. But is there a world in which we took the show this direction? And I sort of pitched an idea based on all the concept and all the characters he already had, and he loved it. And we were already buddies. So actually flew to Nashville in December, and we had like a couple of days of writing and working. And Chad had already agreed to put it in his season because Bo was such a success, and he loves Crieghton and he loves the show. And so we actually were at Flint Repertory Theater my birthday weekend this year, working on the show for the first time as a collaboration with Josh Rhodes, our director. And we learned a lot, a lot, and we've been working on the show sort of since. So
you've been able to continue working some during all of this madness?
Not as much, because not as much because I think we had worked on it in Flint,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had done a whole series of rewrites while Chicken and Biscuits was running. So we were working on it like right up until COVID hit, but we have a new draft that's different than what they saw in January.
Yeah, yeah.
And I keep sort of saying that I'm going to do stuff and then not really do it. So,
Because you're locked down with the 3-year-old.
Yeah, the 3-year-old really is more time consuming than I bargained for.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so you brought along a couple of songs, and I'll say that's what people sign on for. They love our chit chat, but they want to hear the music. So, first of all, for people who don't really know what the show's about, can you kind of tell us the plot of the show in a few sentences?
Is that on me?
You want to take it?
Book writer?
No, you take it.
It's a brand new plot, Doug.
It is a brand new plot. Okay. It's funny. We've not had to do this publicly, Donna Lynn.
Okay.
We have not had to do this
I'm
publicly.
happy to give you this opportunity.
I'm excited for it. Am I? Erin and Charlie are a couple 4 years prior, and they have this very sweet vacation spot that they go to. How do I pitch this without giving it away? Basically, they fall in love. They're musicians. It doesn't work out after a proposal. And 4 years later, they bump into each other again at their same sort of sweet getaway spot. And he's still in love with Erin, but Erin is now engaged to another man that she's brought to that spot. Why she would bring him there, I guess you have to see the musical.
I guess so.
So it's how people love each other forever, but ultimately are not meant to be together. Bam.
Okay. Bam. Good job. That was good. We all got it. Excellent job. All right, people, remember, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat or text them to the number that Michael Fling is going to put along the bottom of the screen. So, Crieghton, set up this first song we're going to hear, please.
Okay. This first song is a song called I Don't Do Love Anymore. Doug, are you clicking? There it goes. I Don't Do Love Anymore. And it's a song that actually originally a character named Elijah sang, but it was more suited towards Charlie. And so we revamped it a little bit. It's now a song for the protagonist, and it's sort of his I Want song. It's become his I Want song, and it's a statement that he makes to his roommate early on, that he's over it, he's not getting back involved because it's too painful to ever love anybody, and he's just out of the game. So here it goes, and it starts just with drums, so forgive me. It goes, I don't do love anymore. Don't even open the door if anyone rings. I say I'm not home, and then the bass comes in. Don't even date anymore. Shop at the specialty store for my needs. When I want to be held, I handle it alone. And I don't even mind, cause it don't get muddy. I'm keeping it clear, and I'm keeping it clean. Watching the screen, I'm my own best buddy, if you know what I mean. See, I got a lazy boy chick, and I know exactly where the remote is. Every time I put up my feet, never get cold in the night. The covers are always pulled tight around me, and I never get heat for leaving up the seat. Living inside where you don't get muddy, away from the sky, you can never get muddy. The people who cry when everything gets cruddy deserve what they get. So I'll leave it to you to go brave the hurricane. Leave it to you to get outside. I'll leave it to you to meet the waves on the shore. I'll leave it to you to carry that ball and chain. Leave it to you to sell your pride. Leave it to you, 'cause I don't do love anymore. You say that to love and to lose is better than never abusing yourself with the weight of someone else's heart. Maybe I know better than that. I know you never get over that hate. Oh, scar. Why would I go for a no good lover? Why get myself hot when it's gonna turn blue? I'm out of the rain and I'm out of the cover. So I'll leave it to you. Go play waves on the shore. Leave it to you to deal with the certain pain. Leave it to you to open wide. Leave it to you, 'cause I don't do love anymore. I don't do love anymore.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I remember I read a really early version of this show, Creighton, when you were working on it alone, and it had a very I'm not finding a better word than mystical. That's not really the right word, but the tug, the real movement between the moon and the sea was very evident in it, and I heard it in the lyric there too. Is that still the case with the show, or is it, I mean, does it still feel a little as though it floats above the ground a little bit, or is it much more grounded now? Or
I hope so at times, but what Doug's book has really done is ground. There's two concurrent love stories basically. There's that of the moon and the sea, and that of Charlie and Erin, and there's the love triangle with Charlie, Erin, and her new fiance Doug. But the story of the moon and sea, we want to keep in that mystical, magical, just that epic sort of cosmic space, that feels not as grounded. But I think one of the flaws with the draft that you read is that the human story also sort of like was living between a really grounded place and a not so grounded place, and it was difficult to know the rules there. So now the human story is so grounded, earthy, and I mean, I want to quote some of the lines that Elijah says, Doug, but I'm not going to do it. You'll let you do it. That are crude enough to shake us and bring us really back to earth. Right. So hopefully that's a tension in the show too.
Yeah. Was it difficult, Doug, to take ownership of somebody else's project? That feels like something that could be complicated. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Can you hear me, Doug?
I think that Douglas has lost his sound. Oh no. That's a great face. Douglas, can you hear us? Oh. Well, why don't we move on to the other song?
It's going through in and out.
Oh, can you hear us, Douglas?
There we are. I can hear you now.
Did you hear my question?
Yes. No.
I think maybe we should go on. No, he didn't. So the question was it difficult to step into somebody else's project? That feels like it could be complicated.
It wasn't difficult because I have such regard for his music. I have so much respect for Creighton as an artist. He was one of the first composers for me before I started writing myself, where I went, oh, musical theater can sound like this. Yeah. So I already was obsessed with the world. And then we figured out a happy medium of that mythical and the real earthy. I don't consider myself like a highly intellectual person or writer. I'm very human, very dynamic-based relationships. I love you. I'm here for you. How do people get through every day? That's sort of where I live as a writer. So no, it wasn't difficult because Creighton was kind enough to give me space to explore. I think I went maybe too far. And then, we've been getting back to center and finding a really nice balance. Right. So no, it wasn't hard because when there's love in the room, you lean on that at the end of the day.
Yeah. I know I was really excited to know that when you had entered the collaboration, because I had read the earlier version and the songs were incredible, but I wasn't quite sure, is this really happening? Is this someone's dream? I remember struggling a little bit with that piece of the storytelling. And so I was really glad to know that you had a partner and to see, because I've read a little bit of what Douglas has been doing. So I was glad to know that it was moving forward. It just feels like a good collaboration to me. But all right, we brought another song. I think this is a demo. You and Dawn did a pre-record for us, right?
Yeah, we just recorded it this piano.
Love that.
yesterday. So
set this up for us. What are we going to hear this time?
So this is, we're going to do I Remember, right? We're going to do,
yes.
This is a song that, again, has shifted over in so many different ways, so many different incarnations. But in this, the moment that Doug has carved out for this song now, I almost don't want to give this moment away, Doug. But I guess why not? This is, so at the end of, I want to give. I guess.
Well, it's maybe all we need to know is that it comes late in the story.
It comes late in the story, and as far as who's singing it, you'll get the Dawn will be singing the part of the moon, but also sometimes the part of Erin, and I'll be singing the part of the sea, and also sometimes Charlie, and those voices weave together at times in the song.
Okay. Great. All right, Michael Fling, whenever you're ready. It's so beautiful to see you guys together singing. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And it really makes, now I really want to see where the show has gone. So you'll be having to forward me a script soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. Douglas, can you hear us okay? I can't tell.
He's in and out. He's in and out.
Okay, if you can hear me, I know that before we guys let you go, people are going to want to update on 5 points. Can we hear you?
Doug, you muted
I
somehow?
don't think he can hear us. Oh, I think that was, hold on a minute.
Oh,
We
man.
can't hear you at all.
We can't hear you, man.
No.
Hey,
We'll bring you back another time to talk
How's
about, to
5
give us an
points?
update on 5 points.
Hold on a minute. This is a disaster. Can you? We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Good. Our voice going good.
Can't hear me.
It's breaking up really badly. So yeah, we'll do it another time. We'll catch up another time. I know it's a great piece and it's been moving along. Our festival audience will remember it. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It's
you,
great
Donald.
to see you both, to know you are well, to hear the music and hear the story of this show. Thank you for joining us. To everybody who joined us tonight, thank you. If you love new work, we invite you to join us here every Thursday night when we'll share another new piece in development. New work is expensive and it's risky to develop. So if you're interested in helping Goodspeed out at this time, goodspeed.org to make a contribution. And thank you to all of our members and subscribers who have contributed your ticket refunds. It really is making the difference and allowing us to stay on the clock to some degree during this time. So thank you all so much. Guys, thank you for joining us.
Donna Lynn, thank you so much for all you do for new work. It's really awesome. You know, it's
the best part of my job.
It's really cool for all of us out here. You're somebody that we can all count on, and we appreciate you in a big way.
All right. Thank you. You guys take care.
Thanks.
Give my love to Dawn.
I will.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks all.